Hello, my name is Slightly Simple. I am the creator of A Date with Monica here doing a developer commentary on it with Agent Gold.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. He didn't necessarily directly help me make the mod, I pretty much made it myself, but he played it and a lot of the effects that you'll see wouldn't be possible without him, so he's done a wonderful job contributing to the modding community.
And I'm actually really impressed with what you've done with that, so I'm really happy about the way things went here.
Thank you very much. So anyway, this is just the typical standard warning. All I did is change the text. This is like child's play, and one of the first things I do whenever making any mod, which is more common than you think. I do a lot of modding, just like in my spare time. Um, so yeah, obviously it says right there in the beginning of Stay with Monica. I found it funny when Orber played this mod, which happened like 3 hours after it came out, funny enough. He didn't include the content warning, so like half the comments were about how this is a parody of A Date with Markiplier, and it's like,
Oh my
yeah, I'm not
gosh.
trying to hide it or anything. It is not official canon. As any, both this mod and Just Protag make it very apparent in their warnings that they're not canon, which is kind of against
that's
what some people
that's
say about mods.
that's good practice.
Yeah. I find it funny that Monica Push story has a button that says, "This isn't canon." It changes like a bunch about the game when you press it. Yeah, there's my little
Oh,
logo
yes.
there. I noticed a lot of mods just reuse the normal Team Salvado logo, but since I already had a logo like pre-existing, I just threw it in there.
I think it's a nice touch whenever someone does that. Like, I find it acceptable if they don't change it, but if they do change it, it's like points for extra effort.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn on skipping because there's gonna be a lot of that in this mod. There's a lot of replay.
Sure.
So this menu, for the longest time in developing this was what the menu looked like always. Like the first thing I did was get rid of the other girls on the menu and reposition Monica so that she's kind of in the center.
You can call me biased, but I see no problem here.
Yeah. So the logo, changing the logo to Date with Monica, which is by the way a modified version of the Just Protag logo, because that was easiest to make. And adding the different Monicas for the different endings was a very late addition.
My head spins when I try to think what the code must look like. I think I can imagine it.
Oh my goodness.
And then it's like,
there's so much of it. It's not complicated per se, but there's just so much of it.
exactly, that's exactly sounds
So
right.
yeah. Now this is something that I imagine went over a lot of people's heads when they play this mod. You click new game, you don't name your character.
I was
This is
just
one of,
thinking about that. I
like,
was trying to remember if I had to
very
or not.
few DDLC mods where you don't name your character. Because your name is never
Yeah.
brought up anyways. And then
Yeah, like sometimes I set it up so it's like you can change your name every time you click new game, and I think that's kind of fancy. But very rarely do I see it where you don't enter a name at all.
yeah, this is a rare occasion. So yeah, here we have the first bonjour. I find it funny that the first line in the game is bonjour, because this is probably the most common word in the script. Because it happens so many times in the original. Just everyone everywhere said bonjour constantly.
I figured that must be the case. Just to be clear for everyone listening, I never actually watched A Date with Markiplier, so this was my first exposure to a lot of this. However, I do watch Markiplier videos, so I can see a bit of his sense of humor going on here.
I watched A Date with Markiplier when it first came out, and I just loved it. That was kind of funny at first, because I was like, wait a minute, it's just a 3-minute video, what's this? And then I got to the end and I saw, oh, there's choices. Yeah, so by the way, if you know kind of who Markiplier works with or who he films videos with, there's Mark himself, there's Tyler, and there's Ethan. And Tyler and Ethan were pretty much the only other two actors in A Date with Markiplier. And Yuri is the equivalent of Tyler, and Natsuki is the equivalent of Ethan in this mod. So if you watch A Date with Markiplier, you'll kind of pick up on that. And there's this background. I got quite a few backgrounds in this mod from Exit Music, because it was just a really easy source to pull backgrounds from, because I'm not really good at finding images. I can make them, but I can't find them.
Hit me up sometime. I can show you the treasure trove.
Yeah. And then this became sort of an iconic image in the mod because a blurred version of this is used in the background for the sort of thumbnail of A Date with Monica. And if you look up A Date with Markiplier, you'll notice that the thumbnail is very similar to this one. And actually, when I contacted Cheeto, who's the person who drew the Monika date CG for this and the CGs for Just Pro Tag, I pretty much gave her the thumbnail and said, do this, but with Monika. So this is all pretty standard stuff. Obviously, this was the first thing I changed after the entire game was written, and I released this scene as a video before the mod itself. Rose. There's a lot of, like, objects that appear on screen in this mod. The DLC doesn't do that, like, at all, and kind of funny how there's a folder in this mod just dedicated to objects.
I have poked around in the files a little bit. I'm impressed with just how many there are.
See, this is like the first of many tricks I wouldn't have known without Agent Gold. Notice how there's no quotation mark before the word sniff. There's quite a bit of quotation marks disappearing before and after lines in this mod, and that's kind of something I learned from Agent Gold.
That's a subtle touch, but it's a nice one when you use it like this.
Love this. So, there's a lot of getting interrupted. The original date with Markiplier, this date was so rushed, and you and Markiplier were just constantly getting interrupted by the dinner itself coming in. So, it was kind of hard to communicate, but I think I did it fairly well. And also, something I didn't mention, all these things are floating.
Just look away. Let the text box be your illusion.
The text box is the table, basically. Also, yeah, in the original Markiplier, like, picks up one of the leaves of the salad bowl and sniffs it. And that's why it's like, oh, get here. Oh, wait, sorry, I missed something. So there's a bit of irony in this.
Oh gosh, wait a minute. What's wrong with this picture?
Monika's a vegetarian, canonically, in the original game, and we're feeding her a roast chicken.
She'll forgive us, right?
It was a roast chicken in the original, so I painted this. But while I was making that, I was like, wait a minute, she's vegetarian. Does she have a chicken? This is supposed to be a cake, by the way. It's like a really crappy peanut butter sandwich, but it's supposed to be a cake. In the original Day with Markiplier, the cake wasn't even on the table. Tyler and Ethan literally just passed it between each other without even putting it down.
They're going through this meal rather quickly, aren't they?
Yeah, it's very weird. And then this.
Hello.
This was my favorite thing. So, the guy that plays the original chef, Robert Rex, he does an amazing, phenomenal job. Because if you pay for the meal, then the guy becomes all friendly and innocent and happy. But if you don't pay, he's basically the villain and he's very aggressive. I just think he fits so well for the role he plays. And I am so lucky that Bobsuki even exists to fill this role in this mod. Like, one of the first things I thought of when I was conceptualizing A Date with Monika was, Bobsuki's gotta be the chef. It just gotta be.
I mean, it works out pretty nicely considering what the role goes like.
It works out amazingly. So you have our first choice. I'm just gonna do the endings in numbered order. I'm gonna save here so that I don't have to keep coming back.
Yeah, I saved it every choice when I went through it, and it seems like a real good way to do it.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna... In the original, you could actually see the credit card appear, but yeah, that was too hard apparently for me. I just looked at this. I love how Bobsuki gets so happy when you pay. It's just like, oh no, she wasn't threatening you at all.
Yeah, and if you don't ask for much.
And if you don't pay, she just turns into a cannibal for some reason.
I don't ask for much, but the consequences are heavy.
But yes. So yeah, got this. So, fun fact, when I first watched A Date with Markiplier back when it came out, the very first ending I got was the true ending, ending 10.
Oh my gosh.
I think I was just trying to make all the wrong choices, and I just ended up getting ending 10.
Yeah, I'll call out which ending I got to first here when we get there, which is basically the same thing, because I did not know what to expect going into this.
Yeah. By the way, in the original you and Mark are driving in a car to this play area. Whenever you get in cars and stuff, they never actually move. You just kind of pretend that they do. Bonjour! It's kind of funny how all the bonjours disappear when anything goes wrong. It's like you don't pay, no more bonjours. Or no. Only when things go right do they say bonjour. Oh, and this, let me just roll back for a second.
Very clever.
This is probably one of my favorite little moments in the game. When the background changes, but Monika just kind of stays there. And it's a very simple, easy effect to achieve. See, Ren'Py, when you use transitions in Ren'Py, you can display anything with those transitions. So if you just put, like, show Monika whatever pose you want at I-11, right before the transition with the scene, then that will happen. And it looks so beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of beautiful... Oh, yeah. This is all just from the original script, but the Monikins would go crazy if they saw this.
I can confirm.
Everything in this is original except the script. And I feel like people are gonna hate me for that, but I don't care. Oh, in the original, there was a vending machine here, so that's why Monika brings up snacks. And then this is just... But, you know, she doesn't have her wallet. She thinks she doesn't. But there's a vending machine for snacks. It's supposed to be there. Popcorn. And even then, the popcorn's free for whatever reason. Everyone loves popcorn, right?
Must be in the price of the tickets, which I assume we must be for.
For some reason, they didn't seem to have tickets, even in the original. Just kind of there. Also, I did not change this. I really didn't want to change the names of the play. So even though it's Monika, it still says The Dark Mark.
Yeah, I see where that has a double meaning when it's actually Markiplier, and then here, it would be kind of difficult to stretch that, but...
Yeah. The, Omni-Mani?
Could always call it the third eye.
Yeah, that's too obvious. Alright. By the way, if you notice, these button sounds, in case you haven't played the mod, these button sounds are not part of the mod. This is just something I do when I'm playing DDLC. I have a little mod template that I can copy and paste whenever installing new mods or making new mods. And part of that is just changing the button sounds to these ones from Half-Life 2. It's just something I like. I'm not really a Mo person, so the original button sounds just kind of annoy me, personally. So I just changed them to these nice ones.
Was another thing I was trying to remember if the original, the one that I played sounded like that or not.
Yeah, no, I didn't change the button sounds in that, but these ones, I just like them. I was a Half-Life fan long before DDLC was even a thing. So I really like those button sounds.
I like to do little alterations like that too.
Also,
I haven't actually
for
thought
the record,
about,
Monika should totally be spilling that popcorn by holding it like that. That popcorn should be everywhere after this.
Well, who's to say it's not?
Also, funny how the only appearance of the school in the club room in this mod is a theater.
This is the most budget theater I've ever been to, which explains why we got in for free.
Well, yeah. It's a school play. Also, I know she's in her school outfit in this, even though she doesn't go to school. I honestly didn't even really bother to do anything to explain that. I know there's a running gag in like mods and stuff where they'll be like, why doesn't she have a casual outfit? Or why does her casual outfit look like garbage? And here I just didn't bother to explain that at all, because I figured, well, it doesn't really have to do with the school, so people probably just won't care.
Which is sort of ironic considering what's coming up in a few minutes.
Oh goodness, we're about to watch the greatest play ever. Nothing can compare to this.
Oh, that is a true statement.
Oh my goodness, this one. So yeah, in giving Natsuki and Yuri the roles of Ethan and Tyler, I ended up having to ship them. And I apologize to anyone that doesn't like the ship. Because I know you're out there.
For the people who do, this is gonna be just as nice as Monika calling the Monikins beautiful.
Oh yeah. This. So, what was your reaction when you saw this particular frame?
Oh, I was just laughing at how unbelievable the situation was. Like, I understand it's in the
Trust
context
me,
of a
it's
play,
even more unbelievable and silly in the original. Because in the original, it's not just this little wholesome hug between the two. You have them, like, poorly humming the bridal march while climbing on top of each other. You really gotta see it to believe it.
I'm not sure if I want to.
It's hilarious, trust me. Oh, and then this. So, before I added these crying expressions, Monika was just smiling here. She was just smiling. And then I went back and added this expression, which, big thank you to the Radioactive 4 for making these crying expressions, because it really goes with the emotional sobs. And this is pretty accurate to the original. I mean, in the original, you watch the ridiculous play, and then Mark's just crying like he watched the Titanic. I don't know. What are the kids like? He just watched Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good.
Just watch You Will Always Be My Dearest Friend.
Oh my goodness. No, that would just be rage. See, the thing about that choice is, it doesn't matter. She dies either way. So just get the hugging CG. Just get the thing so it's not grayed out when you get to the credits.
When I watched a friend play VDLC and was like on call with him while he was doing it, I had to just kind of nudge him to the correct choice there.
So, here's a funny thing. This is true for both the original and this. The play, Love Too Soon, pretty much summarizes the first ending. Like,
I kind of got that vibe, yes.
It's like, you go on your first date, there's a, you're the one paying for dinner, other person's taking you to a park, and then you instantly get married. That's pretty much what happens. You go the normal ending. Well, not normal ending. There's no normal ending in this game.
That's true.
And then this choice. This was in the original as well. You could just go and watch the horror play if you wanted to. This choice literally wraps around to the same thing as the original horror button. To be honest, I'm not even really sure why it's there, but it is.
I actually tried that myself, and it's like, so you can get to that path either way. That's
so you basically have a second chance at getting the horror path.
Maybe it's just to nudge you into seeing something go wrong.
Perhaps. But I like to imagine that none of them know any French. So Monika's just like, yeah, what you said. And then Monika lost her popcorn. No, this was funny. I had a playtester play through this, like, right after I'd finished writing the script. It wasn't polished or anything, but I had a playtester as a friend of mine. And when they got to this part, they were like, wait, that isn't French! And that was...
That's not.
That's a fair reaction, I think. Yes, so, in the original had some fairly clever transitions. None of that here, but in the original transition to this part was Mark would put his hands over the camera and be like, guess who? And then when he took them off, you were suddenly at the park.
I see.
And then in the original, this was a frisbee thrown at Mark. It's kind of hard to communicate in this, but I did my best. I love how many gags there are in this ending where she just can't pay for things.
If you have to make one mistake on a date, forgetting your wallet at home is not the one to make.
Yeah. The irony is, the chef still has our wallet. Like, they never gave it back.
Gosh.
At least in the original, they never gave it back. They just kept our wallet. Basically just robbed us. Oh goodness, this floating again. Yeah. Now this is the part that's probably going to infuriate the Monikins because they have to pick no at some point to get, like, the actual true ending. The one with Monika and the White Boy where she hugs the mannequin. And we'll get to that.
I If it helps, like the first time I went through, I chose no here because, like, it's too soon. It's too soon. Oh, but if only I knew.
But, who wouldn't want to get married on the first date, right?
Yeah, we're gonna find out answers to that.
Oh my goodness. Now, I will say something. I purposefully made this the only ending where she does her leaning pose.
Really?
Yeah, because, it's kind of like the normal ending, and you get you get a nice romantic marriageness. So it seems kind of fitting that that's where her leaning pose is. Alright, and then this big reveal, even bigger than the original game. With brilliant background art done by yours truly. In a span of like 2 minutes. But whatever. This is the highest quality of background art that ever could have been. I don't think anyone can ever live up to this.
It fits the mood of this thing perfectly.
Yeah, which in the original, this is pretty much how it looked like. You were in a small room with a green screen.
Sure. That's a fancy green screen for everything that we've seen so far.
Yeah. By the way, in the original, the outfit this person is wearing is absolutely rad. They look like some sort of, I don't know, 70s or 80s rad person.
Oh my gosh.
And they're so full of energy and everything. For like, next time, more emotion. And then Mark is just so dismissive of everyone and everything. I love this because he becomes such a cynic in this. She's such a kind and heartfelt person before, but at this, she's just such a cynic. And I love it. So, and then she's doing her leaning pose again. Figured I'd put all 2 expressions in there.
I have more.
Well, I didn't use the pose tool for this because I'm not on a Mac.
Again, hit me up later. I'll walk you through it.
Well, I don't know if you're serious or not, but anyways, moving on here. You have this. So this little change for casual outfit. In the original, this was just kind of like Mark put on a sweat towel with the YouTube logo on it. And I wanted to recreate some sort of change, but I didn't already have a casual outfit on hand, so I kind of looked at the mod assets Google Drive folder and found this.
I like this.
I think it's been used in a couple other mods. I think it was in like Fruits the Literature Club or We Are the Literature Club or something before. But I think it looks nice.
Yeah. It's also one of the rare Monika casual outfits that does not show her shoulders.
Oh yeah, that thing. Oh yeah, this. So I don't know how many people were tipped off by me calling him Michael instead of MC, because this is technically MC from the original, but I called him Michael because I feel like
I don't think I even noticed.
If he's not gonna be MC, like if he's not gonna play that role, he may as well just be called Michael, which is what he's called in Just Pro Tag.
Seems fair to me.
And then the original makeup. In the original, the makeup person just basically took one of those powdery things, just put a bunch of powder on Mark's face while sarcastically going, "Let me make it pretty," which is pretty funny. And then this. It's literally the exact same script as A Date with Markiplier, but it somehow just ends up mocking some more hardcore Monikans. So it's like, who would get engaged on the first date? Who would say yes to that maniac? This line especially honestly feels like it's mocking.
Oh my gosh.
But no regrets.
I mean, sometimes these things, they just don't have a positive ending of any sort, so...
Original
here's
game.
A parole.
I don't even know what this line means. Ready to go again? Yeah. Meta ending. I like this little ending thing. I made it by sort of... and this, the Monikas that appear on the main menu. So this is kind of interesting. It was kind of interesting going through and editing all those images of Monika. And when we get to the chocolate ending, that one has some special code in it that makes it work fully, which I'll talk about when I get there. So now we're going to go back and reject her.
Now remember, in the other path she said, I didn't think you'd say yes.
And here we find out that was a blatant lie.
I think it was.
I think she was fooling us. I think she was pulling our leg. It's kind of funny when you realize, like, the longer this ending goes on, the more depressing it gets.
I know.
And it just loops her back around to being funny. Just because it's so sad. Oh, yeah.
That might have been decent to mention up front.
Don't ask why you're playing as the child of Sayori and Michael. You just are. By the way, if you're wondering, in the original, their shirts were black text on white, but here they're white text on black. Michael was already wearing a black shirt, so it was just easier to turn Sayori's shirt black and make the text white.
I see.
Yeah, if you've seen, like, some of the stuff on the r/DDLC subreddit, you'll know Michael's casual shirt is black. I made this casual outfit myself, by the way. I made pretty much all the MC casual outfits except for Wallace. Because Wallace is bad. Funny thing is, in the original, this line was, I already changed your last name. Because I know typically in marriages, it's the female that changes the last name. Because Mark's a male and Monika's a female, I had to change this too. I already changed my last name.
Somehow I would have believed it if Mark changed his last name.
Well, I mean, you don't want the last name of Fishbach? That is his actual last name. Yeah. But, you know, Monika Gold is a good name too.
Oh gosh, I've never considered that.
Yeah, like in this... in the original, the faces of the people playing mom and dad were out of shot, so you could kind of fit your mom and your dad there. But here, that's not a thing, and you're just playing as the child of Sayori and Michael for some reason.
Oh, I don't think too many people would mind that.
And I think now's a good time to mention, if you look at the design of Michelle, or Femsi from Just Protag, she kind of looks like the daughter of Sayori and Michael. She's got the eye, she's got the height, she's got the chest area and stuff, but she's also got the hair length and the other eye.
Oh gosh, the eye colors match the two of them, depending on...
They do. I think the way that heterochromia thing started was someone editing an image of Femsi made an editing error and forgot to change one of the eye colors, so she just ended up having two of them.
Well, it's funny, for Divided Hearts, I had to change the main character's eyes to blue. And when I was going through that process, I did the eyes individually. It's like, I could totally give him two different colors now, couldn't I?
You could. You could give him many different colors. You can make them change with expression. Instead of the different files. You could change the pose tool so that each eye has its own thing. Anyone can go cross-eyed.
That one I can do. I just haven't.
Yeah. You can make like that, I think I remember DMing you an edit where Michael was cross-eyed. You could do that very easily if you wanted. This is so sad. What's happening on screen? Just a hug. So the original is hilarious because Mark just walks off sadly, and then he gets on a hoverboard and slowly hoverboards away. It's so sad but hilarious at the same time. Even the name is sad. I play it so much.
Oh my goodness.
And then we have this.
I have this rule where if you're going to propose to somebody, you should know ahead of time that they're going to say yes.
Was she not ahead of time?
Oh gosh.
Alright,
where are we going?
Forward time. So, when I first started making a date with Monika, I made a meme using screenshots from the original Date with Markiplier of this image, where it's like, the romance, DDLC, or the horror, also DDLC. So that means, if I search my profile, that means we'll probably still be up there on the DDLC subreddit. But it's kind of funny, because this is basically what DDLC is. The romance and the horror.
Yeah. And oddly enough, making fun of both, depending on where you are.
Oh, by the way, spoilers for DDLC, in case you haven't played it.
What are you doing here? Go play it.
What are you doing? Spoilers. Sayori dies. In Infinity War.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, what's coming up? This is good. This is the only time I used one of Yuri's Y expressions in the entire mod, because it just fits so well. Because in the original, when Tyler was like, good luck, the music cut out and he just looked so intimidating. He was like grabbing onto the desk and stuff, and it's just so intimidating. And this just matched so perfectly well that I couldn't not do it. And the music continues to not play because, as we all know, silence is a classic horror technique from DDLC itself. I think
also
even
supporting the... I was going to say, supporting the theory that this place is completely free. You can watch both plays one after the other, despite the fact that neither of you has a wallet.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But, I believe Dan said something about silence in his anniversary stream at some point. So, Popcorn. Oh, I like it funny. In the original Date with Markiplier, there were so many comments about how the people just wanted their popcorn. You offered it to them twice and didn't give it to them. And they just wanted their popcorn. So this. Yeah. It's kind of original. In the original...
Oh, wow.
I love that. In the original, the area kind of zoomed out, and you saw, it tiled, so you saw, a bunch of... I'm just gonna pause this so we can talk about what we wanted. In the original, it zoomed out, and it tiled, so you saw, what looked like a bunch of other features, and I was gonna do that here, but I had a really hard time trying to find a way to merge. So I just gave up and did the next best thing, which I think still turned out to be pretty cool.
I'd say so. I'm impressed by anything that involves basically two of the same image on the screen at the same time working in weird ways. Like what we're looking at now.
There's a lot of that in the horror area. Pretty much, the quote-unquote normal appearance of Dark Monika is 3 images. A grayscale one, a transparent red one, and a transparent blue one.
Yeah, it's
this first
really
one
cool.
Is a glitch. You're not even guaranteed to see this in the original game.
That's right.
But this image works pretty well for the first appearance because she's not supposed to be settled in yet. Things are just all wonky and stuff. So a little trick I used here, if I can remember right, is I displayed the grayscale image at the normal T11 transform, and the transparent image at the face transform. So that's why it looks so zoomed in.
Okay, that's a good trick.
And this one. There's a lot of combining the normal transform with the face transform in the initial sequence here. And pretty much the entire time I was working on Date with Monika, at least the initial writing, I was simultaneously watching the equivalent of parts of A Date with Markiplier, and I tried to make things as accurate as I could to what was going on with each line on the screen.
Sure.
So there is a lot of jumbled code between the lines for this segment. It's a little bit of a mess.
I can very easily imagine that.
Yeah. It's a lot of mess. When that red part goes back to the original. And you see, this one is very subtle. Even I didn't notice it on a lot of replays. The gray one puts her finger up, the pointing area. And the blue one also does it, but the blue one does it with a bit of a delay. So if you see that boop, boop.
Oh, wow.
Kind of something you miss. It's very easy to miss. And there's this what? So yeah, there's a lot of really wonky ways of saying the dialogue in the original. But because there's no voice acting in this, that's kind of hard to communicate. But I still did this. And this is sort of the transition into the quote-unquote normal appearance of Dark Monika. Now you notice I use this... Sorry, you were saying?
This whole scene just blows me away with what you did with the visuals here.
Well, I'm glad. Because I know you've done quite a bit with visuals. And this scene wouldn't have been possible if you hadn't done anything, because I didn't even know Renpai could do all of this. Honestly. Now, if I could get back to what I was saying before. So the screen tear effect, you'll notice the screen tear effect from the game is used quite a bit in this sequence. And there's very similar screen tear glitchy effects in the original at those parts. So it's kind of convenient that I had a screen tear effect to use. Pretty much just pulled it from the scene where Sayori dies in Infinity War, and just kind of plugged it in there. I don't know if the recording is capturing my mouse cursor, but for this, I basically just borrowed the code from the part in Act 2 where you're choosing who to go with on the festival, and the game moves your cursor.
So I had a little bit of a bonus here when I played it, because my computer, its age is starting to show, so it has some weird effects sometimes. But when I got to this moment and my mouse was getting dragged there, the mouse would suddenly blow up to about 5 times its size and then go back down, and I thought it was part of the effect going on here.
Goodness. No! I have no idea how I would achieve that. By the way, these buttons, I know what they do in the original game, like when this effect of moving the mouse is used, but here they just don't do anything.
Yeah, I actually tried it.
I imagine people are going to try this just because they know the game's not letting them, because people are naturally rebellious.
No, the original counted on that.
Yeah, so if you're pressing these buttons, weird things happen. But here, nothing happens, and it's just sort of a loop in labels. So when you press anything that isn't in the original, these would go to pre-existing Markiplier videos that aren't part of the Day with Markiplier chain. So if you look, don't blink, don't move, relax. These are all pre-existing Markiplier videos that relate to Darkiplier in some way. So that's why they're there.
That's clever.
They're all just videos of Darkiplier. But Freedom is the only one that actually advances the story.
Right.
So yeah, this. For a long while, I just used I like to point out that in the original game, this image is not transparent. It is in like Moz and stuff, but in the original, this image is not transparent, so I actually had to rotoscope and cut this out to make it. But for the longest time, I didn't do that, so in the original, this just had the whole space classroom there. And not the background and creepy effects and stuff, but this is just the whole space classroom was wobbling around all gray and fake 3D and stuff. And using this image is sort of meant to recreate the dinner table. Pretty much any CG in this mod, except for the date one, was sheer convenience that it even existed. I love this line. And then this, like the big red thing appearing in the background all of a sudden, that's from the original. So again, and I love these little moments. Now, the original Darkiplier is pretty calm and serene, but occasionally you'll just shout things like this upcoming line, "I can give you anything!" Like, you'll just occasionally spout random things very loudly like that. And that gives me a fun opportunity to play with effects. Like the jump scare image. Again, sheer convenience on the part of the original game. Oh yeah, this. So this super shaky effect, there's a couple things that violently shake. This actually uses the same wobble effect that a lot of other things use like this. It's just really sped up.
That makes sense to me.
That wobble effect has a couple parameters on it that allow you to play with the timing, so I just sped it up a lot and suddenly it turns into violent shaking.
Yeah, when I make these of my own, I try to include that so that I can do like faster or harder shakes or something like that, just depending on what you might need in the future.
Yeah, but this wobble effect wasn't created specifically for A Day with Monika. This was in the original game, in 2 places, at least, maybe more. The main 2 was the Dedori scene, where Sayori sort of bobbed around, and the background did as well.
Yeah, I think I recognize this effect now that you say that.
And this was also, in that scene, you have a chance of getting where the screen goes all red and gooey, and it looks like MC's about to have a heart attack. That also uses this wobbly effect. A little scared there. In the original, that was just 1 second of screaming. Oh yeah, and then this...
I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I usually turn the sound a little bit lower than the music when I play these things for that very reason.
Oh, and then this... I love this, because beforehand, the effects look so professional and well done. Mm-hmm. And then you have, in the original, Tyler comes in wearing a bag on his head with Mark's face on it. Actually, I don't think it was a bag. I think it was a mask with Mark's face on it.
Oh, jeez.
And it's really hilarious in the original. Oh, so I love how these people are just left and right.
Yep.
So I've talked before with Gold about how I did this effect, and Gold's done this effect himself in a video which is now on Spaghetto's channel. It was like a bunch of Monikas in the same place. The way I pulled it off was I just copied Monika's image definitions and just gave them all to Yuri. So one of these 2 was technically Yuri using Monika's images. And this was one of a few places in this mod where I really played a lot with sound. Like here I just make little fight scenes with sound. And see Monika with her pistol. This is Dark Monika, by the way. I think she's the one with the pistol. Original. You see it just kind of flies away there. That's supposed to be dropping on the ground, but whatever. Now we have a cool effect coming up, but before that, I want to talk about this. So in the original, this was the Doom pistol. You actually held the Doom pistol in your hand. And I wanted to do that here, but I couldn't find a good image of the Doom pistol through Google Images. So I just took the Half-Life 2 pistol instead.
Yeah, I get the same energy.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I think Half-Life might or might not have been the game that started the trend of shooter characters holding the gun in the bottom right corner instead of the center. Because I know, like in old games like Doom and Wolfenstein, characters always held guns in the center. But I think this is unconfirmed. This is like my headcanon for real life. But I think Half-Life was the game that started the trend of holding the gun in the bottom right corner. So this effect.
Oh, this.
This was very fake. And I'm curious, Gold, I know you were trying to do this kind of stuff before A Date with Monika came out. And I also know I talked to you about it before A Date with Monika came out. But what was your reaction when you actually saw it in the game?
Before you see the code and see how this is happening, this looks amazing.
Yeah, until you do this.
Code, I see you do it, it's like, you cheeky little... That too.
I cheated to get this, to get the text on the right. The text on the left is already aligned fine, I just need to use /n a bunch of times. But I had to cheat to show the text on the right, so when you hide the UI, that doesn't get hidden.
I didn't even think to look for that, so...
But it looks so cool beforehand.
I know, it's like, someday I will get this into a workable feature that anybody can use, but for the time being, this is what we have to work with, and no way is this something that I want to hand people and say, here, try to figure this out.
But it looks good. I mean,
it does.
I mean, I have quite a bit of experience with coding, so I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
Even if the average modder doesn't, but I think this looks good.
It does. It really does. Like, the way things are lined up, that's what I want to shoot for. I want to do that, but for real.
Yeah. So, fun fact, this little text box, if I remember correctly, this is technically the glitchy text box that appears at the end of Act 3 after you delete Monika.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just changed that image and then copy-pasted the code for that so you get these text boxes that split into 2 different ones.
That's what we call another backdoor way to do things.
Yeah. Basically, long story short, cheat. If you don't know how to do something, cheat. Grade A gunshot sound, by the way.
Just squish.
I was considering replacing it with an actual gunshot sound, but that is just so hilarious to hear the next snap sound. It's so horrifying in the original context, but here it's just you fire the gun, squish. It's just kind of funny.
We'll just assume that you had a silencer.
Fun fact: if you know, there's a couple. Do you know about Brutal Doom?
I do not.
Oh, great! That's the starting point of a bunch of other things I was going to tell you about.
Oh no.
So Brutal Doom is a mod that makes things gorier, basically. Just
Oh boy.
multiplies the gore by infinity.
Okay.
So after that, Brutal Half-Life was made, which does the same thing, but for Half-Life. One of the features in that mod was being able to put a silencer on your gun. So a very early work-in-progress mod that I have on my computer, Brutal Half-Life 2, also allows you to put a silencer on your gun. And since it's Brutal Half-Life 2, it's this gun.
Sure.
Yeah, if you want me to, Gold, I can PM you a screenshot later.
Sure.
And I love this scene because whether you shoot the right person or the wrong person, it diverts your expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
When I first went through this little route, I actually shot the wrong person. So
Hey, what do you know?
It does so much to convince you that you shot the right person at first. But then later on, you get effects in this, which can make you think you shot the wrong person. And then that turns out to not be true at all. I love this line.
Bonjour, we must be on the right track, right?
Oh yeah, bonjours. I love this line. It's a very subtle hint, but it's a hint. And I like those few hints sprinkled about that remind you that, yeah, she doesn't have her wallet.
Yup.
And this is one of those. Ah, yes. When I made this, I was trying so hard to not make it look like a phallic symbol.
Oh my. Oh my.
But it just kept looking like this. This is another line I love. Woman and you.
Because she doesn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't even give her a name to guess with.
I wonder if we made the right choice. Oh wait, never mind, we did. Oh, it's funny. In the original, the line is obviously, "Hello, ice cream, my name's Markiplier, and welcome to my mouth." And that's just supposed to be a cutesy parody of his intro.
I was going to say, is it the same inflection as his intro?
Yes. Well, sort of. He says it in a way more, like, Mo tone. Like a little giggly, silly schoolgirl type thing.
Oh, gosh.
So yeah, it's supposed to be his intro. Oh yeah. I love this. It's like, who knows? Who knows? Not exactly setting the best precedent, but who knows?
Okay, but next time you have to be the one to kill someone, alright?
Wait, that's just the original game.
That puts things in perspective.
This is a prequel to DDLC. Oh yeah, it's like... So, yeah, you kind of killed someone on a last date, so I figured this time I'd kill some people, just to make it even, you know? I love this. Every time I see this, I think of amiibos. Collect them all. Or Pokemon. So yeah, last time we made the right choice. This time we're not going to do that.
This was my first ending when I went through this.
Same. For the original Day with Markiplier, I mean, this was my first.
Yeah. Like I said, about the same difference.
Yeah. You know what would be really cruel? This isn't something the original could do, but it's something I could have done. I could have made both choices lead to the same outcome, but have that outcome randomized. So So you'll never
Oh, gosh.
be able to guarantee either ending. You know, I think the ironic thing is, even though this is Dark Monica, she actually sounds more sympathetic than regular Monica here.
I know. It's like I had a feeling that the dialogue that they had before was like, you're not going to be able to figure it out from this dialogue. Well, I tried. I tried to see which one sounded more like they were lying, and, well, I guess wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of can. I think, if we go into the dialogue history, we're not going to see what right Monica said. We're just going to see what left Monica said, because...
Yep.
Yeah. Right Monica was the one you're supposed to shoot, so this is what the real Monica said. You do not have much time, he's going to tell everybody. What are you doing? I think the right one, the correct Monica, was more casual about it, and the dark Monica was just going straight for the insults.
That could be.
This. I like this little effect. Because if you look close, you'll notice everything fades out completely except for Monica. And then this effect.
That's some cool looking smoke.
Yeah, this was actually borrowed from Act 3 Just Monica window stuff, like what you see just outside the window. It's sort of the same effect.
I have a shameful confession to make. I still haven't figured out how to do that.
Oh.
It's one of the things in the game that I don't understand yet.
Well, it's actually a pretty complicated effect. The effect itself is pretty complicated, but doing stuff with the effect like this is not as complicated.
That makes sense.
Like, changing the effect to be this wasn't that hard. Forever. No. Goodbye, Sayori. Goodbye, Morp. Goodbye, Literature Club. For those out of the loop, I said Morp because that's what Mark named himself in his playthrough of DDLC.
My goodness, does that feel like a long time ago now?
You know, it'd be funny if Mark played the Purist mod and Natsuki's route in the Purist mod. Or if anyone played that with Mark's name. Because there's this part in the Natsuki route of the Purist mod where they spell your name backwards. So at some point, Natsuki would just say, "What do you think, Prom?" Because Mark named himself Prom spelled backwards. That would be so hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this effect. So this is the one effect, or this is the one sprite that actually has a little bit of extra coding to it. I made this image here is technically defined as one image in the code, but that image in the code is sort of a combined version of a couple other images. Say,
that's
live composite. And I did this effect very similarly to the way I did the effect in the game, which was to have a gray image, then a red one, then a blue one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then... Alright. We're not gonna pay this time. Oh, deadbeat, huh? I love the voice acting in the original. It almost makes me wish I could take the chef's lines from the original and put them in as sound clips here, because it just works so well.
I know how to do that.
I mean, I do too, but whatever.
Sure.
It's like, oh, deadbeat, huh? We know just what to do with deadbeats. I love this. I love it so much. I also love what's coming up. This is, again, some very wonderful background art done by yours truly. This is a car. Now, this little Monica image that appears here was not done by me. It was done by someone on r/DDLC. I just kind of found this one day on r/DDLC.
Yeah, I remember seeing it once, and it's like I could probably find it again if I had to. It's a cute one.
Yeah, I like how Orber used this as the thumbnail for one of the parts of his playthrough. Because it is really cute. Basically, Natsuki's first CG, but it's Monica. When I first found this image, I didn't have a use for it, but I asked for a transparent version anyway, and now I conveniently have that, so I just put it in the mod.
We call that foresight, kind of.
Kind of. In the original, the chef just kind of shoves Mark and you in the car, so the position is very awkward there. But here it's not. You know what happened in the last guy to Bisville? Ah, neither did he. Oh, this slide. I love this because the chef just screams it at the top of his lungs in the original.
Oh,
it's just so funny because you don't see it coming at all. Yeah, the tire iron.
I always forget how to reach the save screen when the quick menu isn't showing.
Just press escape.
Seems fitting.
This.
That didn't work. Oh gosh.
Does this place look familiar?
Perhaps, but not for the right reasons.
So, fun fact, I was originally going to use Bliss as the background for this. And if you don't know what Bliss is, it's basically the Windows XP background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to use that for this, but I decided, nah, that's too far in the silly direction. So instead, I used, this bridge. Yeah.
I think the less said here, the better.
Yeah, definitely has nothing to do with Sonata's about departure. And definitely has nothing to do with making a certain pasta boy cry.
I may have never watched his videos about that, simply because I had my own experience and that was enough.
Oh my goodness. You know, I didn't play extra music for myself, I just kind of watched Paquette's video. And when I first saw, like, right from when I first saw this reveal of Natsuki's death, right up until Michael's death, MC's death.
There you go.
I have an instinct to call him Michael now, I'm sorry. But between Natsuki's death and MC's death, I was just waiting for the part where they're going to reveal that it was all a nightmare. Because I didn't think they had the balls to go that far.
Yeah, I thought that it seemed like he was going to get out of it. I had read a synopsis before I played, so I knew what was coming. And I thought, maybe I read something wrong. Oh, I guess not.
Yeah, no. But honestly, I didn't think that she was actually dead, and I just kind of thought it was a nightmare. I wasn't trying to be in a denial or anything, because I don't really get upset over things, but I was like, this mod doesn't have the balls to go there. You could have paid. The option was there. But at least the anti-Monikins have an option.
I mean, what's really the worst that could happen from this point now, right?
Right. Be days or weeks. Oh my gosh. I've been trying to play this game for months. Of course, there's this little line about how there's a road. And of course, in this background, there actually is a road. Oh yeah. This this thing sneaks up on you. Like, it fades in so softly and it bobs so softly. I don't know if players are even going to notice it until Monika points it out. It fades in on this line, then Monika says, wait, you see something? And I think that's when players start to look for things and they'll see, hey, it's a shiny.
I mean, given the context of where we are and everything, I don't think I could ask for better than that. I think that's actually better than noticing it first.
You know, to be honest, this little purple glowing ball thing is pretty much what it looked like in the original.
Ha! That's pretty cool.
Yeah, my goodness. This, well, the effect coming up here, probably one of my favorites. Just wait. Just encapsulates everything. Lightness. You know what's funny? I'll show this once we get to the end here. That background does not change back. There's nothing to make that background change back if you go too fast. So
Okay.
I'll show you what that means later
Oh
on.
boy.
This kind of makes you wonder why they. Sorry, kind of makes you wonder why they went out to dinner if they had sandwiches.
Especially if nobody was going to pay for it.
Yeah, and then we have Skelemom.
Hi.
This was probably one of my favorite images to make in the mod because I took an actual skeleton image and just kind of it was way too big, so I had to crop it and paste the pieces together underneath the mom shirt.
Oh my gosh.
This ending is
I'm
honestly
scared.
this ending is honestly better if you've already done the I Plan So Much ending because you know who that shirt belongs to.
Uh-huh.
This is, and it's just so much more hilarious if you know who that is. Again, the vegetarian bringing tuna. I don't know if vegetarians eat tuna. I don't know what the whole law is on aquaculture and seafood.
There is a variation that would, and a variation that would not.
Yeah, right. So I forget which comes first. I think it's this one.
I think it is.
But before I go back, I want to roll back. Hang on. I'm gonna skip here. Watch what happens in the background.
Oh, sure.
Like I said, there's nothing to make it go back to normal. But there is for Monika because she has to be expressive.
Sure.
But there's nothing
like
to make the background go back.
I honestly like that.
It's a bug, but it's just so hilarious.
I actually found a very similar glitch to that in the original DDLC, like the scene that I call Catfight Round 2. If you're skipping through that, the fuzzy
it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. And everybody looks weird with where they're positioned when you get to the end of that.
Yeah, I've experienced that before because I just skip through things. Fun fact: if you go to the options and you enable skipping unseen text and after choices, you can actually skip right through the dead Yori scene.
Oh my gosh!
Unlike a couple other places, there's nothing in there to stop you from just skipping it.
That's where you'd think you'd want it most.
Yeah, you'd think you'd want to stop people from skipping that scene. But I guess Dan didn't count on people enabling these options, because normally you can only skip stuff you've already seen, and it's impossible to see that scene twice. So I think Dan just didn't count on people playing with this.
It could be.
So yeah, now we have one of this. In the original, this and the tune ending were narrated in a beautiful narrator's voice, so let me see. Little did you know that fateful sandwich would change the course of your life forever. That's basically what Mark sounds like in the original.
Mm-hmm.
In this again, I tried to be as faithful to the original as I could. And it's kind of hilarious how melodramatic this whole scene is. She just flops down.
Yep.
In the scene. As you might be able to guess, I just copy-pasted the code for those black squares to blunt Natsuki's eyes at a couple of her seats in the original.
That's another effect that I don't understand yet, but I think I will one day.
And just kind of stretched out. It took a little trial and error to get it to look proper like this, but hey, it works. The fledgling resistance. Oh yeah, this. If you stay on this for long enough, it just kind of fades in and out by itself. And it never fully fades in at all.
Right.
Yeah. So you notice I didn't even click anything and it's already gone.
Yeah. So now this is not only a prequel to DDLC, but a prequel to Fallout.
By the way, in the original, there's a lot of peanut and peanut butter imagery here.
Oh, gosh.
There's just peanuts and peanut butter. This part works a lot better because it's the man,
the myth,
the legend.
The legend.
Monika. I love that scene because it's just so melodramatic. It's hilarious. Peanut butter blues. I also love how it implies that even though that was supposed to be your sandwich, she's the one that ate it.
Maybe she brought 2 of each, I don't know.
She stole my sandwich!
So I hate to do this, but since we are between endings, it's probably a good time for me to. I'm out of time. I have to go right now.
Alright.
Do you want to keep going on your own, or do you want to pick this up later?
Well, I've done half the game at this point, so I think it's only fair that I pause here and come back later.
Alright.
So, yeah. This developer commentary, either it's going to be in 2 parts, or I just stitch them together and it's one long thing.
Yeah, whatever ends up working best.
Alright. So, thank you, Agent Gold, for joining me for this little thing. And I'll
thank you for having me.
Alright. Well, I'll see you when I see you, pretty much.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.